Up on his toes. There's a good 1-2 from Peterson, utilizing the jab here now.
And that's what he should do. Close the gap with his feet, with the jab, and finish with the right hand. Cayo's trainer said that he hurt his shoulder in training in April, but wouldn't declare which shoulder it was.
Remember, this fight was originally scheduled to be on Friday Night Fights here at the Cosmopolitan in April. Then once he was healed up, they pushed it back to what would have been on another network this July, and it lands here on ESPN. You heard Lamont Peterson almost feeling like it's a homecoming of sorts coming back to Friday Night Fights and what is such a critical fight in his career.
You see Peterson get in there close, gets in there with his head, has been involved in head clashes. Cayo, as we said earlier, very awkward, hands low, quick hands. He can switch southpaw on you when he needs to.
Just chopping away is Cayo, but much of that missing.
You know, I've seen Cayo cut guys with his punches. He throws the kind of punches that sometimes breaks up the skin of his opponents.
Put some torque on there. There's a looping right hand from Peterson.
Here's Peterson using his left hand, but also his intellect. A left hook just to set up that right hand. What he did there was he understood that if he threw the left hook, not the jab, but a little bit of a hook, he would distract Cayo. Cayo's eyes would go to that side of the left hook, opening up a path for the right hand. That used your noodle a little bit. Peterson, good job.
49-47 on Teddy's scorecard, giving Peterson the last 2 rounds. Thought rounds 1 and 2 were clear to see.
I expected to see a little bit more constant pressure from Peterson. He's deciding to do it the other way. He can do it that way. Get on the outside, change distance. Make Cayo reach a little bit. And then Peterson can use his jab. Make it a little bit of a boxing lesson. I just thought that if Peterson kept the pedal to the metal, get that pressure on, he might be too physically strong in the later rounds for Cayo. Well, Peterson letting up on that pressure.
Just popping that jab a bit here now. Cayo comes reaching in with that right hand. Peterson does not fill that gap.
You know, you asked me what could Peterson as people do different from the Victor Ortiz fight, take away from it. I said change it up a little bit, not be predictable. Maybe that's what he's doing. Instead of just fighting a straight ahead pressure fight, he's trying to show that dimension of being able to do this. Box a little bit.
Up on his toes a bit, circling, utilizing that jab, snapping it off, doubling it up. Occasionally you'll see the right hand come behind it like that to the body. Ortiz with a right hand, but Peterson is rolling off to his right side.
See, now Cayo's able to fight a fight that we didn't think that he could fight on the inside in spots. Because he's been left alone for most of the round, so he's fresh right now. So he can hang inside a little bit with Peterson. And Peterson, although he was doing stuff on the outside, not doing what he needs to do, I don't think, enough on the inside. Because that's his forte. Banging that body, bringing a little heat.
Cayo firing off that right uppercut with Peterson covering up that time.
Again, I don't mind Peterson showing you more dimensions, Joe, but he might be choosing the wrong fight to be shown it. This is a guy in Cayo that he needs to probably be aggressive and be the stronger guy.
Coming to the halfway point, scheduled for 12.
Foreplay.
There is Barry Hunter, the trainer for the Peterson brothers, as he's doling out the advice to Lamont Peterson's, and everything has to be behind the stick. Wants to see that jab. Round 7, IBF title eliminator. Victor Cayo, Lamont Peterson. Lamont Ring Magazine #7 at 140 pounds. Cayo, of course, in his biggest fight was KO'd by Marcos Maidana, but he has risen up the rankings in the IBF, and thus the opportunity for the winner of this fight to be the mandatory challenger for Amir Khan, if Khan chooses to go that course in his career. Of course, he could give up the belt, he could move up in weight. Winner of this fight would then fight for the vacant IBF belt.
Always interesting when two guys at the top of their divisions get together. Number 3 tonight against number 4, both in the IBF. You know, earlier tonight, of course, we had the Spain light heavyweight contender winning that fight. And earlier off television, we had a good prospect, 16-0 Sergey Kovalev with 14 knockouts. He scored another knockout in the second round. And his manager came up to me before, Igors Klimas, who does a very good job, and he said, Teddy, we would love to challenge to Spain to fight right now against our undefeated prospect, Kovalev.
I thought Kovalev looked pretty good just sitting here before we went on air tonight, checking him out. Wouldn't mind having that fight on Friday Night Fights.
No, I don't think we would mind it at all. I wouldn't mind it, and the fans, I think, would enjoy it.
Well, we hope you enjoy the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Indianapolis this weekend. The Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral is going to be Sunday on ESPN with coverage starting at noon.
You know, Barry Hunter got on Peterson and said, hey, get inside a little bit. And I think that Hunter's thinking the way I was thinking. Yeah, you can show you different dimensions that you can box. Show it some other night, though, Joe. You know, show it against somebody who's a strong guy coming forward that you need to box with. But don't show it tonight. Cayo is not as physically strong as you. You should take advantage of that and go forward. Peterson doing a little more of that right now.
Both men landing right hands moments ago. Cayo searching for that right uppercut. Peterson now just muscling him against the ropes.
Now, Cayo got away with fighting inside the last round because Peterson let him get away with it. Peterson not letting him get away with it this round. And I think Cayo's in the wrong place. I said it in the beginning of the fight. He needs to fight on the outside to have his best chance. Now, he's a gutsy guy.
He sure is,
and
isn't he?
And he will have moments, and we're enjoying it. But he's in the wrong place, fighting inside, I think, with the bigger, stronger Peterson. And I think he got a little bit of a false sense a round or two ago when he got away with it.
You know, mentally, he doesn't understand he's a skinny, wispy kind of guy. He's a fighter on the inside. The spectacular Chelsea Ballroom here at the Cosmopolitan. 140-pound ring rankings. Lamont Peterson, number 7. Amir Khan coming off the win against Zab Judah, number 1. Zab goes down to number 9. But bottom line is this, in the IBF, the winner of this fight, Peterson and Victor Cayo, will be the mandatory challenger for that belt now held by Amir Khan.
Now, if I want to give Peterson a lot of kudos, a lot of credit for Psychology 101 and setting up his opponent Cayo a couple rounds ago, I would say that Peterson fought the wrong fight that round. He boxed, he went on the outside a little bit, allowed Cayo to think that, hey, maybe I could go inside with him. Drew him in a little bit, like he's starting to do now. And now Peterson ready to drop the trap on him. That's if I want to give him a lot of credit.
Won 4 straight on your scorecard, 69-65 according to Teddy. Left hand to the body. Two-punch combination, right hand tailed off that time for Peterson.
There's gaps, there's lows in the offense of Peterson. That's one of the little kinks in the armor. The electricity is not always flowing. Sometimes there's breakers in there that are cutting it off a little bit. And you can see it. He stops himself. He does that.
There's an example.
Yeah, it's a good example. Stops the flow. Disconnects a little bit.
Now he comes in. Works with the body on the inside.
Now he's got the flow a little bit. But then he'll stop it again. As you see here.
Cayo landed a right hand. Peterson comes back firing. Doubled up that left hand.
Peterson,
a short right hand on the inside.
A moment ago, Peterson was looking for a setup punch, trying to draw the right hand from Cayo and then sort of pull back with his right shoulder, roll with it like he did that time with his left shoulder, roll with it a little bit, and then come back with a counter right hand. Cayo turning southpaw now and turning back to orthodox on the inside, but Cayo staying inside again where I don't think he belongs. Peterson has a record of 3-0-1 in this city of Las Vegas. Wants to make it 4-0. Stays on the inside, he probably will.
4 rounds to go between these two. Here at the Cosmopolitan in Vegas, sunbathers enjoying their time out at the pool while Lamont Peterson and Victor Cayo were making their final preparations for this all-important main event, round number 9.
You know, we touched on it earlier. Cayo's only loss by knockout when he stepped up in class with a very aggressive and physical world champion, Marcos Madonna. You know, coming in here, to me, Peterson was the same sort of challenge for him tonight. That kind of constant physical, just, you know, a bigger guy, a stronger guy, a guy that would bring the heat, bring the physical pressure, and definitely bring body punches. But Peterson has swayed a little bit. You know, in spots he's brought it, and in spots he's done this. He hasn't brought it.
Maidana's more of a committed, rugged guy. And has a little more well-rounded, has more options, but has the ability to do what Maidana did on that night.
Yes, he does, and I thought that he did coming in here exactly. You know, in some ways, Peterson maybe a little bit smoother.
Right.
In certain areas, and there again is that move he was looking for the last round. See, he really drops his left hand a little bit of a trying to set a trap. Peterson, as he drops his left, you see it there, and then if he sees the right hand coming from Cayo, which is not going to come now because Cayo's standing southpaw, but when he's orthodox, which he is now, Peterson sees that right hand coming. What he'll do is rotate that right shoulder back and make it miss, and then fill the hole with the right hand.
One of Floyd Mayweather's favorite moves, laying that trap, shoulder roll, and coming back with that right hand.
You saw the trap there. There was a trap set. That time what Peterson did was he stepped out a little bit, tried to set the trap. So you know how Peterson's thinking right now. He's thinking about landing one big, effective punch. And maybe that's allowing him to be outworked in spots.
I think in this round right here, such is the case.
See, if you know how the guy's thinking, you know how to deal with him. And you know what he's going to do. Right now, I think, again, Peterson's thinking about landing one spectacular punch. And Cayo's thinking about just hustling.
Yeah, good punch output and work rate by Cayo here in round number 9.
Get into the mind of a fighter a little bit. I think we're in the mind of Peterson. He thinks he's got a little lead, which I agree with him. And he thinks, hey, maybe I can land one big one. That time he looked for the big one underneath.
And now the jab from Cayo.
Cayo busier, Peterson maybe a little stronger. Who wins the round?
ESPN Friday Night Fights is presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. And in part by GoDaddy.com, domains, websites, and everything in between. That's the Chandelier Bar here in the Cosmopolitan. Just one of those spots when you walk through this magnificent resort casino on the Vegas Strip, you shake your head at and you can't believe it exists. Round number 10.